Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Listen, you know I gotta let you know. The Hurt season hats are still jumping out the gym, so make sure you click on that link with the print champs and grab your hat today. Snapbacks, dad hats, and everything else is on there as well. Also, the Devontae Smith rock, paper, scissors shirt is also going crazy as well, so make sure you go ahead and grab that as well. Listen, man, Big Manscaped, man, they're coming to you with the products. Shout out to Manscaped, man, for the Lawnmower 4.0. You know what I'm saying? The cologne, just everything that Manscaped bring to the table, man. Redefining how the modern man grooms himself. So if you want to get a crack at the Lawnmower 4.0, 3.0, whatever you want, man, from Manscaped, man, make sure you go to the website, use code Brunson. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself 20% off and free shipping. The free shipping, I fought for that for y'all. So let's get right into it, man. I know you already saw the title of the video. I think it's only right that I, explain my optimism for the upcoming season for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just not fan talk. It's actually a common sense theory behind it. Now, often when you hear the other sports sheep talk, they talk in a sense that regurgitates what everybody else is saying. I'm not that guy. When you do things like that, you leave out, the benefit of the doubt that some of these finely tuned athletes deserve. You leave out the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right into the reasons why I feel optimistic about the upcoming season for the Philadelphia Eagles and why I think it's a high chance that we could be really successful. The first reason being Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is just he didn't wow people with his opening speech, but that's just words. I think Nick Sirianni is going to put into action a football plan, a dominant offensive plan that entails Miles Sanders getting 1,000 yards on the ground and being the lead workhorse for the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni was the offensive coordinator in an offense that had a 4,000 passing yard quarterback. You know what I'm saying? 1,000-yard rusher and multiple receivers that chipped in on the offensive side of the ball as well. So I believe Nick Sirianni is more than capable of doing that with this team. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people would start a franchise today with Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying, over Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? A lot of people would start their franchise today with Miles Sanders over the running back that performed in Indianapolis. A lot of people would start their franchise today with Devontae Smith over T.Y. Hilton. So we have the weapons to get these things done. Also, Nick Sirianni is a guy who likes to use the tight ends a lot as well. So when you have tight ends on the field and explosive running backs like Miles Sanders and a dual threat quarterback like Jalen Hurts, only good things can happen in the running game. So I'm real optimistic about this team finally turning the corner and finally putting the ball in Miles Sanders' hands when it matters the most. The second point, the offensive line. Listen, when this offensive line is healthy, this is a top 10 offensive line in the National Football League. This offensive line was shredded last year. It was thin. Let's call a spade a spade. We put rookies in the beginning of the season. Rookies didn't pan out. We start playing favoritism ball. Dillard got hurt in training camp. Didn't do anything for the team last season at all due to injury. Brooks also got hurt in training camp or mini camp or whatever it was. Done for the season. Lane Johnson attempted to play on an injured leg. It was bad. It was bad. And not to mention Jordan Mailata learning on the fly, and you still out there running around you were forced to bring back Jason Peters due to all the injuries. Now let's think about what's happening this year. The Philadelphia Eagles have an 80% win rate. 80% win rate when Brooks and Lane Johnson are on the field together. 80% win rate. So our best combination of offensive linemen was off the field for the entire season last year. Jordan Mailata has took leaps. Jordan Mailata, if you redraft, Jordan Mailata goes way higher than what he was. Jordan Mailata is no longer a project. Jordan Mailata could take this starting job away from a top 10 pick. He could take this starting job away from him. You know what I mean? The battle with Dillard and Jordan Mailata is only going to be a battle simply because where Dillard was drafted. Jordan Mailata's growth is a reason as well. Is what I'm getting down to. So you compile getting back a healthy Lane Johnson with getting back a healthy Brandon Brooks, potentially if he's not traded. Your Pro Bowler in Kelsey. And then the addition of Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson grew on me. The pick, everything about it just grew on me, man. In a very positive way. It sounds crazy when you say the Philadelphia Eagles picked up the best interior offensive lineman in this draft, but tell me one that was better. Landon Dickerson is a dog. Is a dog. That type of play is infectious. Everybody will step their game up. It's NFL professionals right now that think Landon Dickerson could take the job away from Kelsey today. Landon Dickerson is that good. Big, physical. The offensive line will be revamped. It's all going to work in the favor of everything that's about to happen, on the offensive side of the ball. The next reason is Jonathan Gannon. Now, Jonathan Gannon doesn't have a lengthy resume of being a defensive coordinator, but what Jonathan Gannon really has is the expertise with cornerbacks. Jonathan Gannon was the defensive back coach for the Minnesota Vikings in 2017, the year they had the number one defense. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were able to exploit that defense because of one, Nick Foles was on fire, but that's another story for another day. Jonathan Gannon has a resume of being able to get the best out of defensive backs. He does. Xavier Rhodes was a Pro Bowler with him. You know what I'm saying? Now he comes in with another Pro Bowl caliber cornerback and Darius Slay, and you just got to be happy about how Darius Slay teamed with Jonathan Gannon can help any young cornerback come along on this defense. So I'm excited and I'm very optimistic about what a defensive back guru will be able to do for a team that has been bad with defensive backs for the last couple of years. The next reason is just being familiar. Team familiarity, just being familiar. Jonathan Gannon is familiar with Anthony Harris. He's familiar with Eric Wilson. They were on the same roster on that Vikings team that I just talked to you about. Brian Johnson, our now quarterback coach, basically helped Jalen Hurts his whole life. If you want to think about it, he's known Jalen Hurts for a very long time. He's familiar with Trayvon Grimes. You know what I'm saying? Let's think about it. Jalen Hurts being familiar with Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson. Dudes who know about Jalen Smith. Kerryon Johnson. Dudes who respect Jalen Smith. That's another thing you got to talk about. You just got to talk about. And last but not least, the 2017 roster. Bits and pieces of that 2017 roster still being on the team from the most important parts of the team, i.e. the defensive line and the offensive line. Those guys are still the same for the most part, the same key players. Your Brandon Grahams, your Fletcher Cox, your Kelce's, your Lane Johnsons, your Brandon Brooks. Those key guys are still there. That's the bloodline of this team. So that's another reason why I feel very optimistic. You got the right vets still on the roster. You know what I mean? The 2017 Super Bowl winning team. You compare that with Alabama. The Alabama boy who's coming, Landon Dickerson. Come on, bro. He knows a thing or two about holding up a championship trophy as well. And last but not least, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is another reason why I feel optimistic. Listen, I discovered, now I'm reading this off the screen. I discovered that Jalen Hurts' 13.8 yards per completion last year was highest among all NFL quarterbacks, minimum 100 attempts, by more than a yard. Deshaun Watson was second at 12.63 yards per completion. Carson Wentz was 32nd at 10.4 yards per completion. That's nearly 3.5 yards per completion less than Hurts. The 13.8 mark is also second highest in NFL history, behind only Michael Vick, who was ridiculous as a rookie with 15.7. You know what I'm saying? A lot has been made about, Jalen Hurts and the 52% completion, because it's the only thing they can hang on. The only thing they can hang on. It's a concern, but when your average completion is going nearly 14 yards, the NFL average last year was 11. His average completion was nearly going 14 yards. The NFL's highest was 11. Well, the average was 11. You know what I mean? The 52% mark is just kind of skewed just to fit some arguments. Come on. 52-yard. Come on, man. All they want to really talk about is the completion percentage, but nobody wants to talk about the attempts. He only threw 148 passes. That gets corrected over time. If Joe Burrow gets hurt week one, or I think it was week 2, either week 1 or week 2, Joe Burrow completion percentage was 50%. If Joe Burrow gets hurt week 2, his completion percentage is horrible, and nobody's going to knock him for it because he only played 2 games. Nobody will knock him for it. They just won't do it. You know what I'm saying? But they will decide to knock Jalen Hurts for his low completion percentage with 4 starts under his belt. I'll never understand it. But a lot of people will try to point out that 13.8 yards per completion. Yeah, that is true, but he got that by dinking and dunking. It wasn't a lot of yards traveled in the air. That's how he got it. That's also false, because 46% of Jalen Hurts' passing attempts last season were thrown for 10 or more yards. 10 or more yards. And guess what at that rate, guess where that puts him at? That was the highest rate in the NFL. 10 or more yards. He completely changed the offense with his presence alone. Carson Wentz was not allowed to do that. Nearly half of his completions or half of his pass attempts were thrown for 10 or more yards. He was slinging the pill. He wasn't thinking and dunking or looking to run. He is an example of taking what the defense is giving him. So just to recap, man, before we get out of here, man, my points for being optimistic: Nick Sirianni, I like what he brings to the table. The offensive line being back healthy. Like I said, 80% of our wins, have come when Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooker were on the field together. They're best buddies. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Jonathan Gannon, his ability to develop defensive backs, guys being familiar, coaches bringing in their guys wanting to play with Jalen Hurts, getting Jalen Hurts' childhood mentor or childhood coach to be his quarterback coach at the highest level. Come on. Some key pieces from the 2017 roster still being intact. And last but not least, Jalen Hurts. We talked about Jalen Hurts, being highest among all NFL quarterbacks with 13.8 yards per completion. And we also talk about Jalen Hurts being the highest among quarterbacks at his attempt rate, with 46% of his passes being thrown for 10 yards or more. Listen, man, I feel really good about this season, and those are my reasons why. You know what I'm saying? It's time to understand that when people are saying things, you need to start getting their reasons for it. You know what I mean? This just ain't talk over here with the Eagles fan base, man. We have legitimate reasons for feeling the way that we feel. What's everybody else's reasons?